Yes, we're doing the clipping the mic to random objects thing. It's my YouTube show and I get to choose the tropes. Welcome to MindKits. I'm in my dingy cupboard. I've got a resin printer over here. Sitting here, neglected, abused, forgotten. Maybe you're in that same camp. Or maybe you're one of those psychopaths that have their 3D printers sitting next to them in their bedrooms. Or maybe you're just on the fence about buying a resin printer, excited about all of the little plastic spacemen you're going to print, but you're terrified of dying. I'm here today to show you how to not die. Let's go through that together. Not dying? That's a bit extreme, isn't it? I just wanted to print my little spacemen and my hentai figurine. Well, hold on there, you little pervert. We're gonna get to that. By the way, just as a disclosure, I'm not a scientist. This is just what I have learned over years of resin printing that I am imparting to you. Oh, I don't know, this all sounds a bit intense. I might just FDM print them. I've seen other people do that. And yeah, you totally could, if you want them to look like Cool. Now that we've made the entirety of Reddit angry for engagement purposes, let's actually get started. So we've got two boogeymen here at play. We've got VOCs and the solvents that we're using to post-process with. VOC stands for volatile organic compound. These are microscopic particles, gases, that kind of thing. Things that are let off during the resin printing and post-processing process. The second one is the solvents. Obviously IPA, methylated spirits, even water in this case can be dangerous because we're mixing it with our resin and that's becoming aerosolized out into the world. Oh, but Angus, I could just buy an air purifier and that'll scrub the air good and clean for me. I can't smell anything. Shut up. Just because you can't smell it does not mean it's not there. By the way, this is Greg, and his hobbies include ruining my takes, and we're just all gonna have to deal with that. Air purifiers simply do not have fine enough filtration to deal with the VOCs that we are dealing with here. Activated carbon can help, but we would need an absolute ton of it and be replacing it every other day in order to get effective scrubbing of the air. But it's all good, because there's other ways to deal with it, and I'm gonna show you. So I need to get the VOCs out of the room. You've established that. How am I going to do that? That sounds like it's going to be really serious and expensive. Well, shut up! Because it's not, and I'm going to show you how! I'm starting to realize that I'm telling you boys and girls to shut up a little bit too much. However, the verbal abuse will continue until morale improves. Please buy from MindKits. The setup that you're about to see cost me less than 150 New Zealand dollars. So this is perfectly easy for you guys to replicate. There will be some times where you're going to have to figure it out for your own setup because everyone's workshop's going to be different, but just follow these basic guidelines. At the end of the day, all we're trying to do is create a box that we can ventilate, and there are 1,000 different ways that you can achieve that. So how have I achieved that? Well, you may not like it, but this is what peak resin performance looks like. Say Angus, that's quite a dapper looking 3D printer you've got inside that enclosure there. Why yes, dear customer, it sure is. This is the new Uniformation GK3 Pro, only available today at MindKits.co.nz. Please buy one, please buy one, please buy one, please. So what have we got going on here? Well, it's as I said, it's a box with a fan that takes the VOCs outside. To some of you enterprising indoor tomato growers right now, this might look a bit familiar. Greg! See, I told you, he just loves to ruin the shots. This is a propagation tent. You can buy these for less than $100, and their entire purpose is to keep smells in and f them off outside. So inside the propagation tent, I've put down a silicone mat. You can buy these from Kmart. They're sold as like dog feeding mats. You put them underneath the bowls. They're about 20 bucks. The propagation tent was about 85, I think. And the fan inside it cost me less than $20. So as I said, the whole thing was very cheap. Everything fits inside of it. It accommodates the fan, and when I'm printing and not having to deal with it, I can seal it up tight, and I am confident that all of the VOCs and everything that I don't want to be dealing with is being taken outside, and as a bonus, little hands, and in my case, little paws, aren't getting inside. So we've talked about the tent, we've talked about the tools, let's talk about the fan a little bit. So in my case, I'm using a 140mm fan from AC Infinity. It's kind of a computer fan style. Now you might think that's not enough airflow for something like this. Thank you, Greg. But I can assure you that it is. My main priority is making sure that it's super quiet while it's doing so, because this is going to be running 24/7. You don't want it to be unbearable. So in order to affix the fan into the propagation tent, I printed some adapters using my Bambulab H2D Combo printer, which you can buy today at MindKits.co.nz, running through a 100mm duct that goes down to yet another 3D printed adapter, which goes in place of where a cat door used to be. So that's worked out very conveniently for me, especially considering that I am renting and this needs to all be reversible. Everyone's situation is going to be different. Look for windows that you can adapt. If you've got those slidey windows, you can just buy air conditioning adapters for windows from Bunnings. But yeah, just get creative. There's no one correct way of doing this. The next thing that we have to deal with is our waste. So if we just put our rubbish in the bin, that's going to be passively venting off gases, while we're just around it. And obviously we don't want that. So the best possible thing you can do is any of your waste, your gloves, your supports, any paper towels that you use, etc., just cure them after you've finished. Now, I prefer to do it in bulk, and there are two ways of doing that. The first is get yourself a rubbish bin specifically designed for baby diapers. You can get them for a couple of dollars at most secondhand and tip shops, because they're something that people get rid of very often, and they're designed to be sealed between uses. The other route you can go, and my personal favorite, is what I like to call the cancer chest. So just get yourself a container that is well sealing. So this has a silicone gasket that goes all the way around, and I will just fill this up with all of my resin trash until it's full, at which point I will either put this outside in the sun to cure, or I'll just take handfuls of it at a time, cure it, put it in the bin. The choice is yours, but settle on some way of disposing of your waste. Lastly, when it comes to waste, you're going to have a lot of contaminated water or contaminated IPA from cleaning your stuff, and you need to be able to deal with that responsibly. You can clean it. There are many videos out there online on how to filter it. I personally don't like doing it because it seems to degrade more and more every time you do it. The best way to go about it is to talk to your local chemical waste disposal site. You can give them a ring and just find out how they would like you to dispose of either IPA or water contaminated with photopolymer resin. Most of them will just take it, some of them for a fee, some not. This is something that you're going to have to factor in, but I can assure you it is a super easy process to go through. What I would recommend you do is get a large, like 20-litre container, and you can just keep emptying your waste solvent into that until it's full, and then take it in one go. So yeah, that's basically the setup. By doing this, I can print not only cleanly and efficiently, but actually have a good time while doing it. It didn't cost me very much to do, and all of this was really easy. This took me less than 2 hours to put together. This is sort of a baseline of how you could do it, but remember, all we're building here is a box that vents outside. There are 100 different ways you could do it. You could make something out of wood. You could make it out of acrylic. You could make it out of aluminium extrusion. Just go wild with your imagination. There is no wrong answers here. As long as you are taking a proactive step towards safety, you are doing something right. Now, I know that all of that might have been a bit overwhelming and a bit scary for you, but I promise you, if you take these steps to just make your setup a little bit safer and a little bit cleaner, you'll not only have a good time resin printing, I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy it more than FDM, because when you have a good workflow going, resin is so easy to work with. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check us out on our Discord, and please don't hesitate to call us if you have any questions. We're always here to help you. Yeah, he tolerated that for about all of 5 seconds. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.